All We Need Is Love and a Really Soft Pillow is a beautiful and heartwarming picture book about what really matters in life. Hi, I'm Dan Skinner, and welcome to the Kids Bookshelf. Ahead, we'll sample the book and talk with the authors about the inspiration behind it. I requested and was provided with a copy of the book, but the video is not sponsored. Peter H. Reynolds is a New York Times best-selling author and illustrator of many books for children, including Happy Dreamer, The Word Collector, and Our Table. Peter's son and creative collaborator is Henry Rocket Reynolds. He's a chocolate bar maker, chains inspirer, and soft pillow admirer. They join us to talk about the picture book they co-created, All We Need Is Love, and a Really Soft Pillow. Peter and Henry, welcome to the Kids Bookshelf.
Thank you, Dan. It's great to be with you.
Before we talk about your experiences as a writing team, tell us about the book itself. What are readers going to find here?
Sure, yeah. The readers will meet the characters Poppy, who's a big blue and purple furry creature, very lovable creature. And then Little One is a little ball of fluff of pink and blue and a little tuft of hair on Little One's head. And they are sort of adorable little duo. And you see them hanging out together. And the big character, Poppy, says, wow, we've got everything we need. We got love. I've got you. You've got me. What else do we need? Rhetorical question. And Little One chimes in, well, a really nice soft pillow would be nice. And Poppy agrees. And then the list throughout the book, that list starts. It's like, well, a pillow, well, a chocolate might be nice. Water, 4 walls, and books, right? And so you see them accumulate stuff, and then a storm comes along and takes it all away. And they're left just with each other, which, of course, the story is a metaphor. There are storms in our life, and they make us kind of reevaluate things like COVID. I mean, COVID was the big storm, and we came up with this story while walking on a beach together during COVID. We escaped the craziness and just took that little gentle walk together and spent time with each other, and just reminded me that the silver lining was, despite this big storm that had blown in, I had this amazing kid next to me at the time, 10 years old, or 9, I think, Henry, you were saying. And I just said to Henry, yeah, I've got you, you got me, we've got love. What else do we need? Again, just like in the book, rhetorical question. And Henry's a bit of a comedian, and he chimed in. What did you say to me?
Soft pillow would be nice.
Yes, a soft pillow would be nice. And I had to agree that a soft pillow, I do like my pillows. And then Henry added, what did you add?
Chocolate.
And that's right. So this list, he added chocolate, and I said, well, books are nice too. I need my books. And so the list kind of grew and grew, and we were chuckling as we were talking. And I said to Henry, by the time we got back to the cottage, I said, Henry, that is a book. Quick, write it down if you can remember. Fortunately, he has a good memory. Wrote it down. We sent it off to Scholastic in New York City. They fell in love with the book, and they said, we got to get this thing out. Let's turn it into a book. So, we are thrilled that the book now is hitting the shelf nationwide. And we hope that your audience gets a chance to curl up with a pillow, their favorite pillow, and our book. And we hope it inspires them to spend more time with the people they love.
For what age group would you recommend this book?
What would
All
you say?
ages.
All ages, Henry?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We see this as an all ages picture book. Certainly, you could curl up with, kindergarten, preschool kid, but there are adults who are busy and need this reminder. College kids who might be, away from home and missing mom and dad or the person they love, and this would be a really lovely gift to remind the person in your life that they matter, that they're the thing that really matters more than anything else. All the stuff we collect along the way, having someone who loves you and loves you back is priceless.
Often these books are read by adults to children. So when you're writing a story like this, do you try to keep both of those audiences in mind?
Yeah, absolutely. And we own a bookstore here just south of Boston, Dedham, Massachusetts, called the Blue Bunny Bookstore, celebrating 20 years in October. And so we noticed that the people who are buying picture books are usually, they're grown-ups and a lot of times grandparents, and they're the ones that will be reading. They're reading to little ones who don't read yet. So it's kind of lovely that you've got the audience, this adult audience. A lot of picture books don't, they're writing for just the child to entertain them, but there are some really lovely picture books out there, not just ours, but some really profound ones that adults are lucky enough to read. And there are a lot of adults who they're like, wow, I really needed to read that book. That I needed to be reminded to slow it down, and or to be a better listener, or to just stop and smell the roses. Which this book is definitely one of those stop and smell the roses books.
Peter, I know you've worked with a lot of different collaborators.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like working with your son as a collaborator?
I've been really blessed. I've worked with such talented people, including Yusef Cat Stevens. I turned his song Peace Train into a picture book during COVID. That was a thrill, but apologies to Yusef Cat Stevens. That was fun, but working with my son is priceless. It's really has been so much fun. And for me, he's actually missing school for this interview, so he's thrilled. He's thrilled, but the sharing this experience of taking an idea that's in your head, putting it down on paper, not forgetting it, and then thinking of a way, how do you share this with the world? And I feel like I've given him the key, that he now knows how to do that, and I'm encouraging him to keep going, because this amazing brain he has is filled with lovely ideas, and he loves comedy. So I have a feeling that his books will probably inspire us, but probably make us laugh too.
Henry, same question for you. What's it like collaborating with your dad?
Well, I enjoyed it a lot. It's the first book I've ever made.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. Well, we worked very well together, seeing as we know each other pretty well.
We do. Yeah, I've known you. How many years have I known you?
One or two, something like that.
1 or 2? No, I think it's more like 12 years. And it's fun. Because Henry, even as a really young one, and I have an electric pencil sharpener in my studio. And when he found out that he could sharpen my pencils, he was in heaven, and he became my studio assistant. And it actually didn't occur to me, like, hey, wait a sec, this guy, he just learned how to read and write, and he's funny, and he's a storyteller. And I'm like, why not invite him to this party? So, kind of happened accidentally, but here we are with a published book. You've got how does it feel to see your name, Henry Rocket Reynolds, on the cover of a book, a big stack of books? No words?
Since when are you asking the questions?
He's wondering why. How am I suddenly the interviewer? Because I am the dad, and I get to ask questions. This is the radio show of life, Henry. Welcome to it. You're my co-star until I retire, and then you can take over the show. So maybe Dan needs a replacement at some point. Dan, when I hope that you have. What do you do, Dan, when you want to have that sweet and simple life? Like this book encourages all of us to slow it down, and what do you do for?
That's a good question. I enjoy spending time with family, and in my quiet times, I like to read, but I also enjoy this. I enjoy talking to creative people and sharing those conversations. Plus, I'm just curious about the creative process. For example, Peter, you're both author and illustrator, and a lot of people don't realize this, but most picture books are created by authors and illustrators working separately with an editor as a go-between. And
that's right.
So the author and the illustrator might never meet or even talk to each other. And since you're both the author and illustrator, do you think that gives you a creative advantage?
I would say absolutely. I mean, I found it kind of ironic in my 30 years of writing books that they publishers will keep author and illustrator apart from each other. To me, that's like asking Paul McCartney to be in another room away from John Lennon. It doesn't make sense to me. I love collaborating. I love that process, that back and forth, um, and so being able to illustrate my own ideas. I mean, when I'm coming up with a story, it's actually starts as a little film in my head, and I basically just take 3x5 cards, note cards, and I will kind of sketch note what I'm seeing in my head, and I just lay it out like a little movie. Um, I don't write the words until I've looked at those cards, and I'll see the little character sitting at a desk alone, and then the teacher comes in the next scene. Then I will put captions underneath. Those captions are like the absolute essential words, and then you go through another round and you add the frosting and make it sparkle a bit. But that's the process, and certainly for me, the drawing and the writing they're absolutely woven together.
So, Henry, you've had the experience now of writing a book with your dad. Do you have an interest in the illustration side of things as well?
Well, I want to, but I'm still working on it. It's
Building up your confidence.
building up my confidence.
Henry is sort of a science guy. He really likes precision, and he likes to get it right before he unleashes it on the world. But I have had the privilege of seeing his sketchbook, and I'm going to say I think he's got it, and he just needs to keep going. I mean, that's my encouragement to everybody out there who you're tackling something new. Don't give up. Keep going every single day. If you want to be an artist, do a drawing every day, and you will get better. You get better at the things you don't give up on. So Henry's got me here. I'm going to be gently encouraging him to keep drawing. And this book is funny that this book actually features these creatures. I don't call them monsters. Monsters scare me, but creatures are kind of fun and whimsical. And when I was Henry's age, I started drawing, and I realized oh yeah, I wasn't getting proportions right on trying to draw a horse. Kind of difficult to draw it looking just like a horse. So I just stuck wings on it and a funny long tail and some horns, and I'm like, wait a sec, this thing can be a creature, be a dragon, and of course, if it's coming from your imagination, no one can say it's wrong, and of course, just by doing, I would draw creatures over and over again. And I noticed this guy has been drawing creatures, and it's a lot of fun, right? Drawing creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have a big furry creature for inspiration.
Yeah, right there.
Right? Right? Me. I am the big furry creature in his life. And I'm also a pretty good pillow substitute too when he's tired. So we encourage everyone to find their pillow and give it a hug.
This is the first book you've written together. And Peter, you said Henry has a lot of great ideas. So do you see more collaborations in the future?
Well, that would be up to Henry. Henry, are you game?
I'm game.
He's game, yeah. Well, he actually has been sharing ideas, and it's really fun that he recognizes that there is this thing. There's an idea, and that idea could become a story. It's the seed, and he's discovering these seeds, and he's been sharing these ideas with me. And I honestly, I'm like, that's that is another good idea. So I will be encouraging him to keep going. He has. It's that first one's always the hardest one, right? When you get that first song written or your first play written, the next ones get a bit easier and easier. It's always a lot of work. Everyone, out there listening, it's still a lot of work. It's a lot of work creating something that that's ready for the world. It's a bit of pressure, but if you do what you love and love what you do, then it actually in the end it's easy. So encouraging everybody out there to tell their stories too.
Well, this picture book is All We Need Is Love and a really soft pillow. by Peter H. Reynolds and his son, Henry Rocket Reynolds. And Peter, before I let you go, I also wanted to ask you about another family project. Tell us about Fable Vision, which you created with your brother.
Yeah, well, 27 years ago, Paul, my twin brother Paul, and I decided to start a studio, animation studio, which then became an interactive animation studio. And we gathered together artists and writers and programmers and educators and recording artists. We have now, 27 years later, we have over 50 employees in our studio in Boston. So Fable Vision, if our listeners check out fablevision.com, you'll see all the cool projects we're doing. And we help tell people stories. So we team up with publishers and broadcasters, PBS, Jim Henson Productions, Smithsonian. And so we use story to help share people's missions and messages. And it's a really really fun company, downtown Boston. So, and then we also have a not-for-profit called Reynolds Teaching, Learning and Creativity, reynoldsltlc.org. And that's our not-for-profit where we are working especially with teachers to help them recharge their creative batteries, because we think that teachers need a lot of TLC. This has been a rough time. Teaching has never been easy, but they've been really put through the ringer the past couple of years. And there are a lot of pressures, with technology and limited resources. So this is our effort to help teachers. So if you're an educator or know one, check out reynoldsltlc.org and see that the work that we're doing to help teachers take care of themselves and remind them that they are storytellers and artists and writers. And, what better way to inspire the next generation than to show them what it looks like. And so we encourage everyone to create bravely. And thank you so much for helping us share not only the message of the book, All We Need Is Love and a Really Soft Pillow, but also the mission that we're on to use storytelling to make this world a better place.
And once again, the book is All We Need Is Love and a Really Soft Pillow by Peter H. Reynolds and Henry Rocket Reynolds. Peter and Henry, thank you very much for talking with me today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dan. This was an absolute pleasure. I hope we get to do it again soon.
If you'd like to purchase a copy of All We Need Is Love and a Really Soft Pillow, I've placed a link to the book for you in the description below. Well, thank you for watching this edition of the Kids Bookshelf. And if you'd like to see more videos about children's books and their authors, be sure to subscribe and click on the bell to be notified about future programs. I'm Dan Skinner. Until next time, keep sharing the gift of reading.